When everything is in alignment, we feel connected, we feel enthusiastic about life, we feel full of energy, we feel motivated to get things done, we're healthy, we take care of ourselves. And that's when we essentially know that we're on track. Things seem to flow, things seem to be easier. On the other hand, when we become disconnected from who we truly are, from our true authentic selves, and we start listening to ego or society, and we get pulled away from the things that really resonate with who we are, that's when we start to feel disconnected. You know, we feel off track, almost like we've lost our way. Have you ever had that feeling when you just know that you're supposed to be doing something, or that you're in the wrong career, that you're in the wrong relationship, for example? All been there. I spent many years living from a place of fear, of ego, and fear of judgment. I was afraid, what would people say if? My logical mind, whenever I would try to do something that was authentic to myself, that didn't make sense to the real world, my ego would say, you can't do that. It wasn't until I reached the age of 35 that I just said, well, if I don't start living my true purpose and who I am, then it's gonna make me really ill and unhappy. Just want to show you that it's actually possible to find your true authentic self and to stop caring about the opinions and the judgments of others. And I hope to be able to inspire you and to motivate you to do the same. So let's get straight into the video. Our bodies have a really clever way to let us know when we are out of alignment with our true selves. And I think it's really important to differentiate a medical diagnosis where, for example, you may have to get medical help, medication, that's one thing. But this is talking about more of a chronic condition, for example, constantly having headaches or constantly having stomach ache or feeling depressed or anxious, having chronic pain. You may wake up every day with low mood. What we tend to do is, rather than just pausing and asking ourselves, why do we feel these feelings or these aches and pains, is we push them down. You know, we take painkillers constantly and we don't stop to ask ourselves, well, this actually may be related to the fact that I'm off track. You just know. You just know that you are meant to be doing something else, or you're meant to be living somewhere else, or you're just in the wrong relationship. That gut feeling, that intuition that we all have. And this for me was probably the biggest sign that I felt every single day when I was in a job that wasn't in alignment with my true purpose. I remember before studying medicine, working in a bank, in a call center, and going into work every single day, and without exaggerating, feeling like my soul was just dying. I would sit there and think, this is just not who I am. So I was doing something for the sake of money, for the sake of paying bills, that wasn't in true alignment with who I was. I just knew that that wasn't the job for me. And I think we've all been there, where on a Sunday evening you have this overwhelming feeling in the pit of your stomach because you know that on a Monday morning you're going into a job that you absolutely hate, and all we think about is the next time we can escape. That is a really overwhelming sign that you're meant to be doing something else. It could be alcohol, substances, food, working too much, and even exercise. When our lives are out of balance, we tend to be steered towards what is our greatest weakness. So I'll use the example of work. You know, if you're working in excess without taking any breaks, we may think, well, actually, this is a really good way of me, being productive. I'm getting my head down and I'm working, 12, 14-hour days, and I'm managing to do this. But actually what we're doing is distracting ourselves. That distraction is taking us away from the real issue, which is the fact that we're not on the right track. I truly believe that every single person has a purpose, and that purpose could be to become a mother and to have 5 children. That purpose could be you want to be the CEO of a huge corporation. You could want to be an animal rescuer or a vet. Whatever your purpose is, that's yours. And when we don't follow that purpose, and when again we stay in jobs that are not in alignment with who we are, our lives feel completely meaningless. When we live lives which evolve around going to work in jobs that we hate and paying bills and surviving, it's a recipe for disaster. It is a recipe for unhappiness. We start to question, why am I here? Is this all there is? Is this what life is about? Just paying bills? There must be more. If we start to voice, or if we start to question out loud, potentially a relationship or a friendship or a job, and we start to discuss these feelings with others, and in return they tell us this is just what life's about, everybody just goes to work to pay bills, blah blah blah, that may trigger us, because we know deep down that that's just not the case. That no, this is what I'm meant to do. And the more people tell us that we should just be quiet and follow the crowd and fit in, that may bring up feelings of anger and irritation, and that is completely normal. You may incur an injury out of the blue. Your car may constantly be breaking down. You book a flight and the flight constantly gets cancelled. You break a leg. Everything seems to be going wrong, and doors seem to be closing where you're trying to brute force them open. These are clear signs that you're on the wrong path. When you're in flow, and when you find that thing that you want to do, again, the universe, I truly believe, will conspire to make it happen for you. And again, before going into medicine, I was living in Dubai. I was working as a personal trainer, and I knew that I wasn't supposed to be in Dubai anymore, but I didn't know where I was supposed to be, what I was supposed to be doing. I was 34 years old, and then I sustained an injury that forced me back to the UK. And once I came back to the UK, I found my purpose at the age of 35. If I hadn't have sustained those injuries, I would still be in Dubai now, working in a job that it wasn't my true calling. You start to ask questions like, why am I here? Why was I born? What am I meant to be doing? Is there more to life? So maybe at a time where you really felt connected and happy and in alignment with who you truly are. And that could take you back to childhood, for example. So when we're children, we don't actually really look for others to validate what we want to do. If we're asked by somebody, what do you want to do when you grow up? And we want to be an astronaut or a unicorn or whatever that may be, we're not fearful of judgment. I think that's the kind of feeling that we need to somehow get back into as adults. This could be a time where you felt really fulfilled because you were being creative, for example, or a time where you were in a relationship that made you feel loved and cared for. But we reflect on those times and we wish that we could go back. You want to run away. And you may want to run away forever. This could be a situation where you just want to get on a plane, get away from your life for a week, for 2 weeks, for a month, just to try and find some happiness elsewhere. And I'm not saying here that there is anything wrong with going on holiday, of course not. Holidays are great. Traveling for me is one of my favorite things to do. But I know that in the past, where I've booked tickets to go somewhere because I couldn't deal with the situation I was in and I just needed to escape. So there's a really big difference between going on a holiday to have a nice time and escaping reality. Whether that be on social media, whether that be friends and family, where you just think, I just wish my life was like yours. One thing to point out as well is social media, we have to remember that most of the time what people portray on social media is not a true reflection of their real lives. So what can we do about it? First thing that we really need to do, and this can be really challenging to do, we need to get still. We need to differentiate between the logical mind and our true authentic selves, because the messages that you will get and the voices that you will hear will be different coming from the head and the heart. The heart is where our authentic selves are, and our ego is designed to keep us safe. It's very, very logical, this is not possible, you should do this. So we need to somehow quieten down the ego and increase the volume of our authentic self and listen to that and follow that. If you're in a situation where you have people who may love you very much, but who are telling you that your dreams are too big, or that you should stay in the relationship that's not making you happy, or that moving to a different country is not possible, try to just remove yourself from those voices. Not forever, but just to give you enough time to listen to your heart. And meditation works really well for this. Now, at the beginning, meditation is really hard because as soon as you try to just be quiet, the ego will jump in and bombard you with a million thoughts. Over time, and by practicing sitting still, not listening to the TV or not scrolling through social media, just trying to listen to that deep, loving voice within that is trying to tell you what will get you back on the right track. Try to reconnect with the things that make you happy. And it's important again that you don't fear judgment here, because the things that could make you happy could be as simple as baking a cake, to go for a walk in nature. It could be to paint, it could be to sing. Whatever that may be, try to start reconnecting with the things that truly make you feel happy, alive, even if it's just for half an hour every single day. Rediscover the things that made you feel happy and playful as a child. So again, as children, we just want to play, we just want to be creative, we have big dreams, and that energy is just one of pure love and authenticity. And if we can again bring that energy back into our adult lives, that unlocks our true authentic selves. So again, every single day, just remember how you were as a child and start to reconnect to that energy. Try and let go of expectations. You may have had this vision for your life that was to get a promotion at a certain age, to buy a house at a certain age, to have a family at a certain age, and you may just realize, regardless of your age, that these things just don't resonate with you anymore. And I think the challenge is when we get to a certain point and when we've been successful, it's difficult to let go of what we've created and to start a new life. But what we need to start doing is letting go of how our life should be. In the eyes of society, we should buy a house and we should go to work to pay bills and we should have a few children. We should. Where actually, if we think about our lives as just a blank canvas, and we can create whatever we want to create without the expectations of others. So if we start to let go of, my parents expect me to be a doctor, or my parents expect me to go to university, or my partner wouldn't understand if I wanted to go back to school, or, you know, my brother doesn't support me in this. If we just let go of what others expect of us, then we can start to have a vision of what we want our lives to look like. Not from a logical place, but again, from a place of just imagination and creativity, and not logic. Because our logical mind will say, this is not possible. This is not what we do in life. Life, you go to work, you pay bills, people are in relationships that are not fulfilling. That's just life. And it's just not the case. Start to imagine and start to create in your mind what your ideal life would look like. From a place of non-judgment, of just pure creativity and authenticity with no logic. If anything was possible, and I'm going to repeat that, if anything was possible, what would your life look like? What would it feel like? What would you look like? Who would be in your life? Where would you work? What would your house look like? Where would you live? What country would you live in? And start to really get creative. Start to really get excited about what your life could look like, because it's never too late. But a warning sign is that as soon as you start to think about what you would like to create, your logical mind will come in and tell you that it's not possible, that you're being unrealistic. And I ask you to keep these ideas to yourself for now, because I think it's hard enough to convince ourselves that we can do something outside the box. But when we have to use even more energy to convince other people that our dreams are possible, then it becomes even more difficult to stay on the right path. The last tip is just to take one step, however small, in the direction of the life that you want to create. Just one step. If you're looking to change jobs, then just have a look on a job agency for something else. If you're looking to go back to school, have a look at courses online. If you know that you're in a relationship that is maybe making you unhappy and that is making you unfulfilled, then all I want you to think about is maybe there is a possibility that once I leave this relationship, that I will find somebody who will love me for who I am, and that I will be in the right relationship one day. Just start to have a think about these things. If you're in a situation where every single day you're feeling really anxious and depressed, then maybe make an appointment to go and see a doctor and to open up about how you're feeling. It's too overwhelming. It's too overwhelming. Just do one thing today that will start to trigger those feelings of excitement of hope, of wow, I could actually do this. I'm really here to tell you that anything really is possible, and despite the various people that will tell you that it's not, and your logical mind who will try to tell you that your dreams are too big and that you're living in a fantasy world, I'm here to tell you that you can turn your life around. I will link a video down below for you to watch if you'd like, about how I went from working in finance and fitness to starting medical school. I took the decision to get into medicine at a time in my life where I had no academic qualifications. People thought I was crazy, and I had this vision for my life that, you know, I wanted it to mean something. I wanted to make a difference, and I started medical school when I was 37 years old, and I really had to work hard at believing in myself, and I just took one small step after the other. So my real hope is through these videos is that I can talk about my experiences and try and inspire you to take action. And right now may not be the right time for you to take any action, but what we can do is just have a think about, where am I at right now? Am I happy? Am I fulfilled? Does my life have meaning? And if the answer to those questions are no, just starting to have a think about, okay, so what needs to change, and just taking one step at a time. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you feel that this content would benefit anybody else, then please consider subscribing so it reaches as many people as possible. Please like the video as well, and I'd love to hear from you. So if you feel comfortable to, please leave a comment. Let me know where you are in the world and how this video has resonated with you. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.